Are you dreaming of the lifestyle that comes with successful trading? Well, it's time to make it a reality. Welcome to the Trading Ascension podcast, where you can discover methods to improve your trading results by focusing on your trading psychology. I'm Jason E., your guide on this path to trading improvement, self-discovery, and self-mastery. Together, we'll explore the personal and spiritual growth journey of profitable day trading. Prepare to unlock the secrets of the trader's mind and align your inner self with your personal success. Listen to this episode if you want to ascend to new levels of trading excellence and personal development. This is Trading Ascension, supporting your journey to mastering trading psychology and personal growth for consistent profits. Let's elevate your trading and your consciousness starting now. In today's episode, let's explore the subject of being optimal as a trader, functioning at a peak state. It's a worthy pursuit for a day trader because it gives us the best chance of making the best decisions that are in our own best interest. So the subject is being optimal, and we'll get to an understanding, hopefully, with the exploration of the topic of detoxifying our trading. The less toxicity in us, the more optimal we are. There are so many things in trading that are addition by subtraction, right? Taking something away so that in its absence, what is left is enhanced. For example, when we stop making that mistake that we're currently focused on, we see improvement in our trading. We use our trading pictures, our trading data to single out a challenge, and then we work solely on that one challenge until it's eliminated. We call it out. Hey, you, oversizing. Let's go all back and talk, right? You aren't welcome here. Then once we take the steps to decrease the frequency of the current villain, we're in a better place, right? We're in a better trading state. And the same thing on this topic. When we decrease toxicity in our life and around trading, we become naturally a better trader. Sometimes in trading, we can feel stuck, like we're banging our head against the wall. Today's tools can help. We have many ways to talk about the personal and the spiritual growth journey of profitable day trading. And it's never really a new topic, right? It's just a different floor in the same building. It's a different side of the same elephant. So I want to make the case in depth, right, that what you seek should be more positivity. And I want to talk about why you should seek more positivity around your trading beliefs and language. For this community, it's overly simplistic to hear someone just say, hey, be more positive. Your trading mindset, blah, 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 right? But it's likely that you'll leave today with a deeper understanding. And the best part is that depth is not only on the topic at hand, but this episode will help you reach a depth within yourself. The only exploration that we do during these conversations is geared towards a very special person who at some level has, just this engaged spirit. And I love you all. And we're going to end this year, as this is the season finale, with a bang. And action steps that you can utilize until we meet back up next year. The reason you want to, stick around today and implement these tools that I'm going to share in today's show is because we are, as traders, performing a mental action. If we're keeping it simple, the goal is that I want all of us to be in top condition to make the day's trading decisions. These decisions they're limited, right? They're finite over the course of a day. Think about it. How many decisions do you make during a trading session? Let's say there's an extreme example, right? We're tying this to our trades. And let's say you are Al Brooks, right? I think that's his name, high frequency scalper, right? Taking 25, 50 trades a day. So that's 25 decisions in which we want all of them or most of them to be great decisions. We want to be optimal ourselves so we can make those 25 great decisions. Maybe you take 5 trades daily, right? And you want to make those 5 decisions the best decisions possible. There are 2 key factors in the goal of making the best decisions, right? First, there's having the mental capital, the reserve tank to make those empowering decisions. And then there's the clarity to know what that decision is. Now, mental capital is burned away. It's lost when we make decisions, right? From the time we get up, start making decisions, the tank goes down. And that's why a routine is helpful for a trader, right? Morning routine, pre-trade routines. This consistency helps us minimize the mental energy that's burned. And that's why we do it. And then clarity on how to make the decisions, right? The best ones. It's found in our trading plan. When we introduce toxicity to our mind, we leak that mental capital, right? That gas, that oil for the brain's engine. And it causes contradictions in the directives of the trading system that we create. Your internal team, right? If you think about it like that movie Element, your internal team gets stressed performing their duties. And their duties is the job of seeking optimal decision making. So what is toxicity? Well, basically, let's call it negativity. So what is negativity? Well, negativity is a noun that detracts from the pursuit of an optimal psychological and emotional state. So any person, place, thing, situation, circumstance that is opposing your future goals is toxic. It's negative. Right? And it's real simple, right? If you don't desire it, if you don't want it, if it will not help you but hinder your performance, then its impact on your goal pursuit is negative. And I don't care how we feel about negative words, because people often get stuck and they slow their progress because they're too focused on the relationship that they have with the thoughts and the ideas and the words versus what the thought is as a standalone entity, right? If the word's energy takes from your energy without giving back a step forward in your desired direction, it's negative. Just like you can like a bad person or you can love a person that's bad for you. You can have an affinity for negative thoughts. So we should be seeking and destroying these thoughts despite how we feel about them. And you might say, well, why can't we use how we feel to seek out these things, right? One might say, I use my feelings to tell what's right for me, my intuition, right? And this is a conversation I have not often, but with folks. I've had it a lot of times before. And they're yet to grasp the feeling of a thought and its impact can contradict. One of my earliest understandings around this was when I had moved away to college, right? I was in rural Montana. And going into that situation, I had a very intimate relationship with not only death in general, but killers. And, you know, when I left my upbringing environment, I realized my misplaced thoughts were actually negative. Those ideas weren't good, right? They weren't things I wanted to increase in my reality, right? So that wasn't judgment on the people I knew, just on its impact in my life. And then, like, think about this. So here's a fictional. Let me make up an example. Let's say there's Frank fictional, right? Frank, he grew up and he was always called the stupid or the dumb one of the family, right? He was one of 15 siblings, and he was the only one ever in the history of these siblings to get a C minus. Now he thought, okay, it's true. I'm dumb. All of his sisters and brothers went to Zell. They went to Yale and they became brain surgeons. He didn't, right? Frank went to community college. He dropped out. So it doesn't bother him when they call him dumb, right? Hey, Franklin D for dumb Roosevelt. Even his nephew, right? Like, hey, Uncle Frank D, right? It's no biggie. But when he tried to go back to school at a later age, right? I'm going to go back to community college. I got to get done. Got to get this done. Then those thoughts of being dumb that he had welcomed into the domicile of his mind, they started to block what he wanted to accomplish in school. And in trading, sometimes we just can't put our finger on it. But it just seems like, oh man, it's all so hard. Like, this is just not for me. What is going on? And you don't know why. But you have to quit thinking about, are you being true to yourself? And you have to start looking at the reality of the self-concept, like Frank did, right? The self-concept of being dumb was the saboteur of the new mind's concepts of, I'm smart enough to finish college. I'm just as good as the rest of these, freshmen here. So, made up example, but I need to point out how you feel about negativity isn't always the best way to call out and separate from its form. It's erroneous, but at times we think that we are our thoughts. So it forces us to over-attach to them like they are us, right? So that student, Frank, might lash out when a peer says, hey man, you can do it. You're a smart guy. And his response is like, I'm not like you, right? I'm dumb. I'm Frank D. And, one other thing that you can take from this story of Frank is that he only had these issues on the path to greater things. And this is good. So the people in your life without a goal, they may not be able to see their own negativity, right? So it's not for us to waste our time trying to enlighten them or change them. We got enough on our own plates. A better way so one more thing on that before we go forward. So as you as a trader, you're putting it all on the line, right? You're putting it all out there and you have to address these things. You can't go about life the way a non-trader, right, would, because they don't have to get to this optimal state of decision making. So don't compare, right? Don't feel bad about the path you've chose. So a better way to seek and destroy negative and toxic mental ideas is to simply say, do I want this for my future? Right? Pretend that your brain is a genie. Is this what your wish is for? Let's call it the beautiful future rule. Maybe I should have called it like a genie rule or something. I don't know. Let's just go with that. Beautiful future rule. If you don't want that idea or that thought in your future, then blam, doesn't pass. It's negative. And it will no doubt take away from the mental capital needed to reach your desired goal. So the negativity, it needs to go. Gotta go. It doesn't have to be all judgmental and extreme. Some things just aren't for everyone, right? Just let it go. Now, at this point, I could say, all right, show's over. But if I stop there, it wouldn't be that normal. It would be, I guess, the normal trading podcast, surface level, stay positive traders, blah, 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 blah. But let's dive deeper into the workings of the mind like only we do in this community. First, what are examples of toxic ideas that hurt traders? There are a ton out there, but these are just a few. Let's use the beautiful rule to call them out, right? So some that I can think of, some that maybe you've heard or you often hear, the market is rigged against me. Now let's use the beautiful future rule. Do I want the market to be rigged against me in my next trading session? Nope, right? That's a negative belief. To believe that is to give a mental home to doubt and hopelessness. When your goal is to become a profitable trader and internally one thought is on, something that's making it harder, it's not good, right? Again, think about that movie Element, right? If you've seen it. If you ever worked with a complainer at a job, man, it makes that shift so long. I can tell you that for sure. What about I always miss good trades because of, fill in the blank. Can't trade in the morning or my job or whatever it is, right? Could be your schedule, trading style, whatever, right? But the beautiful future rule says, I don't want to miss trades in the next section. So it fails the negativity test. We got to eliminate those thoughts. Losing means I'm a bad trader, right? I'm avoiding these losses. So every time you lose a trade, you feel bad. That's the path of pain for sure. Plus, you'll fall into this false goal of eliminating losing, which causes people to overlook risk management, and they just want to win more and find profit instead of try to find profit while still losing, right? Do I want to feel bad about losing in my next trading session? Nope. Doesn't pass the beautiful future rule. That's a fail. What about, trading is a scam, or prop firms are a scam, right? I can't afford any losses. I must predict every move. No one can make X amount of money. Do you want mental limits on what you can make in your next session? Just because your math doesn't explain some random online trader results, don't even know if they're real or not, right? That's, even if they're lying or not, that isn't the question, because this is all happening in your brain. It's not a conversation with them. It's negativity that you're wrestling with in your own mind. So one of the all-time legends of trading negativity is trading is hard. But is it true? You might say, yeah, Jason, it's true, man, but it's true, right? But it's a weird statement because it's something we do every day. Imagine you jogged a mile every day, and after a year, you were still saying, oh, running a mile is hard. Dude, you do it every day, right? Some people can't even finish that mile in your time. Give yourself some grace. If something you do every single day is hard, there's an issue going on, right? There's simple but not easy, but it's all about the language, right? If you went to the gym and lifted a 50-pound dumbbell, it should get easier over time. Now, if you must bring, negativity into it, let's get clear on what is hard so you can at least fight it, not just lay down to that adversity. For example, getting clear, pushing a button to enter a trade, that isn't hard. We don't make the market price move, right? So the market moving isn't hard. Making the right decision on when to ride the market in the decision, you choose that. Is that the hard part? Well, good thing there's a trading podcast that only focuses on the personal and spiritual growth journey of profitable day trading. That's dumb. You guys are already here. You don't need a plug. But listen, I've also heard people try to minimize the usage of negativity by saying, I just say that, I don't mean it. But again, I mentioned how judging negativity by how it feels or your relationship with it isn't the best way to separate from it. People say, oh, I'm just stating the facts. I've heard that from negative people a lot. So we can, do even better to understand the impact of toxicity in our psyche by using the beautiful future rule. So let's explore how this negativity has an effect on us, how it impacts the actual internal process. One more thing, bigger picture, because the simple answer is thoughts have energy, right? It doesn't matter how you feel about it. It's like a quiet serial killer that lives next door to some people. You ever see the documentaries and they say, oh, he was so quiet, right? Not knowing the bodies in the basement. In words, it's called gematria. And it's used primarily like in Hebrew, but it also is used for other languages. It's based on the idea that words and phrases carry energy or meaning beyond the literal definitions. But then there's also etymology, where you're studying the literal definitions and the energy of that. But to call out some things here in gematria, words with the same value are thought to be connected in some way. And then words are seen as carriers of energy with letters acting as channelers of light. And then the last thing on this, because this is things that aren't mainstream, and they get the term pseudoscience, but in this case, in psycholinguistics and cognitive science, they prove some legitimacy to the energy of words, right? With studies like emotional priming, linguistic relativity. Even in neuroscience, we can draw a relationship from studying emotional processing and then just the whole process of neural plasticity to word energy. If we peer into social psychology, we can find support for word energy in the persuasion and the stereotype activation studies, right? Because in that last one, how to expose people to specific words that can unconsciously activate stereotypes and biases, right? So whole nother topic. Just want to introduce those two rabbit holes if you want to go down them, but let's get back on track. Let's explore the journey of a thought in our brain. The process demonstrates how it's simple, right? It's repeated thoughts can gradually reshape your mental landscape and potentially impact your physical reality. And it happens in steps. So first is initiation. When you think or say a word, neurons in the brain fire electrical pulses, right, to make the connections between where this data is stored. And then there's pathway connection that builds on that. These electrical impulses travel along neural pathways connecting different regions of the brain, connecting ideas and forming complex understandings of your world. And they're strengthening, right? Repeating these thoughts, right? And when you repeat something, it's called an affirmation. It strengthens these pathways, making them more sensitive and easy to activate in the future, right? It becomes the go-to pathway and the go-to thoughts. Ever played like NCAA college football or Madden, if you're a gamer, right? They have that suggested plays or the recently used plays that show up based on what you do most, right? The brain does that too. It brings these thoughts to the forefront that you use most. And this causes new habit formation. Over time, the strengthened pathways become the brain's preferred route of thinking, replacing these old thought patterns with the new one of what you've been focused on. It doesn't happen overnight, but it definitely happens. And it leads to physical changes. As these new pathways are reinforced, they can lead to changes in brain structure, influencing how you think, how you feel. And, if you look at it like a city, right? Because brain and cities kind of look the same from that aerial view, or hearts look like cities from aerial views as well. But the most used roadways are expanded. They add lanes, they add express lanes, etc. And that leads to behavioral impact, right? The new thought patterns can influence your actions, such as taking on new challenges or developing new skills, or in the case of negativity, avoiding new challenges and shying away from embodying new skills. And then there's the subconscious influence, which is kind of the last step after all of this attention is given to a word or a thought. And that's the consistent repetition of a thought actually influencing our subconscious mind, leading to that deeper belief in the affirmed statement. And we've spoken about this before. I believe that research and the people, although they're not mainstream, that state that the subconscious ideas live in our cells. And they're placed there so the reaction time is decreased. And this is an awesome, it's awesome, but it's also scary. Because think how fast the neural network is, right? Millions of the speed, I don't even know how fast it's traveling, but immensely fast, unimaginably fast. And then we see that in a fight or flight response, right? Because the body just reacts. I like watching those spook videos where people, scare their spouses and jump out on their kids and stuff. They're like, and some people just do it like 5 times a day to the same person. It's crazy. But that person, they can't really help how they're reacting to that. So that reaction, that fight or flight, is stored in their subconscious. There's no time for them to think before they react. There's no time to stop it before it's deployed. It's very difficult. right? So the repetition of those ideas can live in the subconscious. And now that we know what's happening in the brain, we can explore how negativity impacts that functionality, how we are hindered when we have an idea, a thought, or a belief in our mind that doesn't pass that beautiful future rule. And this is deep into brain function. So hopefully I can, even use these words here, but goddamn, look at this list. I need to brain surgeon vocab. So number one is the cognitive map distortion, though. Pretty simple one, right? Because inconsistent neural pathways can lead to a distorted representation of the environment in our hippocampus and the orbital frontal cortex, right? Which is, both crucial for goal-directed behavior. One of my mentors, and I've mentioned this before, talks about the map is not the territory, but we all have this internal map of reality that we base our actions off of, even if the map isn't real to what's out in the world, right? So this distortion can make it more difficult to navigate towards a goal efficiently. And this person could run in circles. They could experience extreme highs, extreme lows, right? The peaks and valleys just get crazy. And then also there's impaired decision making. Inconsistent neural activity, right? This means you're holding a negative thought, but it doesn't match your goals. That inconsistent neural activity can affect the brain's ability to process negative reward prediction. And that can lead to insensitivity to losses and to punishments. So this impairment can result in poor decision making during our goal pursuit, right? Because we're not attached to the outcome. We don't know what's going to happen if we do that. That future sight of, if I click this and it's oversized, if I take this risk, it's not going to be good. But that information may not be available at that moment because of reduced cognitive flexibility. These inconsistent neural pathways may interfere with the mesocortical dopamine pathways. And that's involved in executive functions such as decision making and behavioral flexibility. So that interference makes it harder to adapt our goal seeking strategies, right? While we're pursuing these goals. And it all is just basically disruptive information processing, because that contrast between, these inconsistent neural pathways, they may interfere with the brain's ability to process information and uncertainty, right? A lot of uncertainty in trading that we need to process because they're crucial for effective goal-seeking behavior. And then the last one is altered motivation, right? So these inconsistent neural activity can affect what they call the dopaminergic system, which plays a key role in motivation and reward-seeking behavior. So this alteration can impact the drive to pursue goals consistently. Do you see how negativity and holding these thoughts or ideas that, again, may not seem negative or feel negative, but by relationship, but they have an opposite direction of our goals? You see how catastrophic this can be? Because when we have these conflicting signals, right, they're distorting the brain's representation of goals and the environment. These inconsistent neural pathways can make it more challenging to maintain focus, make optimal decisions, and efficiently navigate towards desired outcomes when it comes to goal seeking. It's not a great place to be, right? As a trader, I felt hopeless at times, like, damn, why isn't this clicking? Why did I do that? I didn't need to do that. It could be your trading problems spawn and originate from negativity. Too many ideas that are working in opposition of your trading goals. So understand this, your attention is the driving mechanism When you focus, what you focus on starts the neural pathway creation process in the brain. That initiation pathway creation, strengthening, what we just spoke about, is all supported by your attention. So the viable solution is to give less attention to things that don't pass the beautiful future rule. Understand that it could still be a fact, right? It can still be that, you know, the thoughts are quote unquote true. But if it doesn't pass the test, it needs less attention from you. Your goals, dreams, and new habits, that's what needs your attention. They need it more if you want to move forward on your journey. So steps to moving forward, you know, of course, less attention to negative things, things that are opposite from your goals, things that don't pass the beautiful future rule. Watch them less, listen to them less, and especially saying these things less, right? Like trading is hard or things like that. And then you want to increase clarity. This is number 2. You have to increase the clarity on your goals. As you're removing things, you want to replace them with more empowering things. If you have an extra moment, use that moment to create mentally the reality of your future self. You can see it now. You can move internally toward the trader success that you seek. Doing this, it primes the path of not only the neural pathways, right, as they're getting primed and strengthened, but also action pathways. It preps the trail so it's easier to recognize and transverse the path from you now to you as the profitable trader. And then number 3 is be flexible. Things don't always have to happen how we think. You have to have some trust that your vision will unfold and that it may not unfold how you think. Be mentally flexible. And it also means be less rigid, right? Especially around the journey of other traders. I think this is kind of an industry problem, right? It just hinders people. Outside problems may be a strong word, but it hinders traders, you know, because we have this scoreboard. So outside the scoreboard of profit, I see traders that we judge others, right? We think that there is only one way to become profitable because that's how we want to do it, right? I had a conversation with a trader. He told me that I couldn't accomplish what I was trying to accomplish with the method I was going about it because he didn't understand the data that I had. Oh, there's no way you can know that. I'm looking at it, right? So conversations like, oh, you know, he can only make money from a prop account, but a broker account through XYZ, that's real trading. Or he has a real account, but he can't pass a prop firm eval. He only trades stocks. He's a Forex trader. Futures is easier, right? That strategy isn't real. All that stuff, right? Listen, just go get the money. Don't try to make your path more righteous than others. You see it in the comments all the time on YouTube, right? Your path becomes righteous when you can make cash from it consistently. And then you won't care about, you know, how others do or don't make money. Because listen, this is deep because it totally ties into the conversation of toxicity. Because this is one of the only places that traders can actually today see their own negativity and the internal conflict it causes. So let's say the trader that hates the prop firm. In their mind, they can't reconcile that it works for another trader, so they have to diminish it. How can I get my results this way when there are people getting results the opposite way? To save my sanity, I got to debunk their shit. It makes sense after our conversation today on our mind. But in trading, understand there's balances. Every buyer needs a seller. So naturally, you will have actions, ideas, and beliefs opposing other traders. It's okay. Seek results, not internal confirmation of being right. Go get the money. You ever heard the statement that you can be right or be happy? Right? It applies to most of the relationships, but I think this applies to trading. You know, you can be right or be profitable when it comes to comparing to other traders. Get a routine to save mental capital by decreasing those micro decisions that should just be more automated, right? If it's something you do every day, you shouldn't every single day have to toil over how to do it. Lock in a way. It may take time, right? I always talk about the 90 days, just a little bit over that it took for me to really lock in a morning routine that worked. Okay, wake up at this time, write that down, go to bed at this time, write it down. How did that feel? Eat this breakfast. How did that feel? Do this in the morning, work out in the morning, do Qigong in the morning, meditate in the morning, drink this in the morning, take that pill in the morning, don't take this pill in the morning, right? All of these things to lock in a system to where I didn't have to focus on it anymore. It was the optimal way to do things for me on autopilot. Happy holidays, traders. We'll pick this back up and jump back on the success journey in 2025. You can always email me if you have questions or just want to chat, support@tradingascension.com. I've been loading old episodes onto YouTube so you can tune in there. And next year I'll enhance the visuals, right? It's just a picture there, but I'll enhance the visuals on YouTube. We'll work on that. But go subscribe, Trading Ascension on YouTube. Take care of yourselves. Focus, believe in your ability to get results. And do that by seeing the results in your mind as already completed. Thanks for listening. Here's to being the hero of your story. Thank you for joining me on this episode of the Trading Ascension podcast. I hope you found valuable insights to help you on your day trading journey. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe to the podcast and leave a review. Your support by subscribing and leaving reviews helps me reach more traders like you and continue to provide this valuable content. Don't forget to head over to the tradingascension.com website for free resources, more tips, and exclusive content. If you can't wait till the next show, check out some of the previous episodes. They're great. But do join me on the next episode. And until then, keep ascending, stay mindful, and remember, your journey to mastering trading psychology for consistent profits starts with your willingness to embrace personal growth.